Hey, this is Chinmay Swami, your host of the Daily Dynamo. In this episode, I'm going to share a powerful secret, powerful strategy which I apply, which will help you to get more work done. That's right, we're going to focus on increasing your productivity. So when you increase your productivity, everything else will follow through. So what's stopping you from making your productivity better is one simple strategy. Well, before I tell the strategy, I want to talk about how I came across this strategy. Well, I visited my friend, and they had he is a coach of a local triathlon team. So I asked him, like, what did you train today? He said, I asked him, what did you guys run? Did you guys swim? Did you cycle? He said, no, we didn't do any of that. So I was shocked. I was like, you're a coach of a local triathlon team, and you didn't cycle, you didn't swim, you didn't run. What did you do? He said, we were working on transitions. And he explained transitions are like, the triathlon starts off with swimming, and after swimming you need to get on your bike. You need to transition from your swimwear to get on the bike, and after the bike you transition into running. So there are the two transitions you go on, and I'm sure there's a transition before you start swimming as well, because you warm up. So he told me that these transitions are the key in getting the performance, in tapping into your peak performance in that sport. So let's say after the swimming, if the transition between swimming to cycling is not done the right way, the way the team, the player, the athlete would take time to tap into the peak performance, would make the difference of where they would be in the finish line, where would be in the long cycle. So that would play a moral, a mental game, and also it will give an edge, the advantage. So I never knew that a transition. So he said he trained his team. They practiced for 2 hours to get from the swimming pool to the cycle in the park. So they were training that for like a couple of hours, and that blew my mind. Like transitioning, I'm like, wow. And I came across, and I say, how can I learn? How can I apply that in my life? And then it occurred that the transition, I do 3 things every day. Like as a coach, as an expert, to sell my advice online, I focus on 3 things every day. What can I create? What new ideas, solutions I can create? And what can I communicate? How can I market? And how can I sell? 3, close. So create, communicate, close. These are the 3 fundamental things. So I asked myself, how do I transition between them? How do I transition from being creative to getting work done, from getting work done to selling? So 3 different people. It's like, you understand, like, so I asked myself, wow, I need to work on my transitions. And more importantly, I've noticed that I have to group my tasks in those specific areas, so that I do all the creative tasks first, and then I do all the marketing tasks next, group together, then I do all the sales tasks grouped together. That way my productivity is increased, and also when I focus on the transitions, it helped me to perform better. So I'll give you an idea of how I transition. So before I start to do my creative work, I transition. Basically, I go for a run, I go for a walk, and that helped me to set my mind up, to energize myself. So that's one. That's I do first thing in the morning. That's the transition into the day. So how do I start being creative? Creative is to come up with solutions, come up with ideas. As a coach, my only job is to create solutions for my clients. So I would start by first reading something. I would just simply read. I would pick up any book and just read for 10 minutes. And the idea is for me is to prime my mind, prime my ability to be creative, ability to take on a new viewpoint, and that helps me to be more creative. So find out for yourself what would help you to be more creative. So I would do that before every time I sit down to be creative with solutions, to create ideas. Next, when it comes to marketing, I would prime the transition into marketing is that I would take a break. There'll be a demarcation, there'll be a clear break time, so that I know when I come back it's marketing. I would usually change my shirt. I would go for a walk, or I would just spend some time with my lovely daughter Gia. So I know that I'm priming. I'm just taking a clear time, like, I've finished my part of creative, now I'm communicating, and I come back with fully energized, fully feeling refreshed, and I would just sit down and just work on the marketing. When I'm to market, I have to be ruthless to share my message, regardless whether if I'm doing a Facebook Live, I should be doing a Facebook Live with enthusiasm, even if there's one person watching, or even if 0% watching. There's no one watching, right? So that's the level of mindset I need to have when I'm marketing, when I'm writing an email, even if there are zero open rates or open rates which are not as good as it should be. And so that ruthlessness, that passion to write, to communicate should be high. So I would focus on my positive side. That's how I transition. Now to transition to sales. When I'm just before making sales calls or sales webinars or sales, I would look at all the goodness in my product. I would sit down for 10 minutes before any sales call, before I start making, before I do the video or the webinar. I would actually sit down and look at all the testimonials of my clients. My recent one is I would make a list of 5 things which I like about myself, which I admire about myself. I would make a list of those. So that would increase my love towards what I do. So that when I get rejections, when I get no sales, it doesn't push me down, because I can handle it. Because if I want to get 2 sales then I need to be willing to get 98 no's. You understand? So you have to have that willingness to embrace winning and losing with the same level of enthusiasm. And for that you need to look at all the good things about you. You need to admire yourself, and that's how I do. That's my transition. So look at your life, look at your day, how you start your day, and see how you are going to transition from each of the tasks. The first thing to practice before the transition is that for you to group your tasks into a particular category, which you do. And since Daily Dynamo, everything is designed for coaches, experts, and speakers, is for you can group them into creation, to communication, and closing. So it's creating ideas, marketing your ideas, and selling your ideas. So that way, when you group them, you will start to notice that you can get more work done. So focus on priming yourself, focus on the transitions. So that's the key thing. Group your tasks, then prime yourself. Make sure, be aware that there's a transition, and that will help you get more work done. So if you enjoyed this, subscribe to the Daily Dynamo, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, join my Facebook group. I share lots more amazing content and free masterminds absolutely for you, which will get lots of wins, lots of success. So you and I can connect on different levels. So podcast is just one. If you like what you've heard so far, then just simply connect with me. Go to chinmay360.com and you will have all the access to connectivity and how you can connect with me in one place. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.